Well, was that the strangest semester that you've just ever had for a unit? We've met twice, we're getting ready to meet for the third time, and you've been given all this freedom to go off and do this work. And for many of you, where was the instruction? How did I know what I had to do? I was so worried about getting this, my 7 or something else, you know. But where did you actually get to during the unit? I know I can't bring you all from here to here, all right? That's the reality of the world. I wish I could. But for those of you who have given it a go, right, you've sort of said, okay, it may not be the normal way I do things, it might not be my preferred way of doing things, but I'll have a go. I'll give it a try. Where did you get to, right? Personal learning statement number 3, for me, is the most important thing you're going to do in the unit, because it's an opportunity for you to really let some stuff bubble up to the surface in terms of what you've learnt about yourself and your ability to be entrepreneurial. Now, you could have learnt something good or bad about yourself. That wouldn't matter. You could have learnt that you have got a capacity to be entrepreneurial, or that you don't think you have. That wouldn't matter. What matters is that you're able to show me your ability to engage in this reflection. That's what the unit's been about. Giving you something to play with, environmental interaction framework. Giving you an opportunity to go and use it, part A. Giving us an opportunity to step back and reflect, personal learning statement number 1. Giving an opportunity to step forward and use that theory again. Being able to reflect on it again. And now you'll find out the results of the extent to which what you believed you could do in terms of getting a video out there and getting people to view it. It's not an easy task, really. And being able to make some sales. That's not an easy task either, right? None of these things are easy to do. I tell you what's easy. Just get a book, right, and read a chapter. Read the chapter, and then I'll tell you what I want you to write 1,500 words about, right? And then there's the challenge of how well can you write those 1,500 words, and how well can you make the argument, right? That's not complicated, in contrast to what you've been asked to do, right? So whether you've enjoyed it or not, you've been asked to do some stuff that's not easy. There is nothing about being an entrepreneur that is easy. Regardless of the glitz and the excitement and the hype that tends to surround entrepreneurship, is hard. It's always hard. You're lonely, right? You're always lonely. It looks like you're doing things with people all the time. Guess what? You're not. More often than not, you've got to pick up and go and do something when everyone else has gone off to do something else. You're always the last one there to do it because it's yours, right? And if you don't do it, no one else will do it. It's incredibly unpredictable. There is no salary when you're an entrepreneur. There is no salary. There is no guarantee of advancement. There's just hope. There's just, I believe this thing can work. Now, I've given you guys an opportunity this semester to think about the extent to which you know you're in a world, right? If you know you're in a world, then you'll be able to cruise through personal learning statements 1 and 2 fairly easily. Because when you reflect on why does this matter? What's at play, in terms of the opinions and the ideas that I have? You'll know. But it's not easy, is it? Because all that stuff's deep down, right? And we want to bring it up, right? Because to the extent that you know that stuff, you will be able to develop a conviction about who you are and what it actually is you believe. Because you now know what it actually is you believe to be true, right? And I've also given you an opportunity to test your perception, right? The extent to which you can make sense of something and you find out that that reality is actually on the money, or it's not, okay? So remember in the first workshop we said that adventuring, right, equals perception over or under conviction multiplied by luck. So where did luck come into it for you? Were you lucky that you got into a good group? Were you unlucky that you got into a group that didn't work for you, right? Were you unlucky because you had no choice but to take this class? If you're in that situation, did you make the most of that luck, right? Did you try your best to try and fit in, right? I don't know how to divide it up. I wouldn't really know where to put the right numbers, right? But there's a group of students who are over here and they absolutely loved the unit. The freedom, having the opportunity to just focus on me, that's you, right? Then there's a group of students who are like, yeah, it's different. I'm not sure I want every unit to be like this. It's but it was, yeah, it made me think in different ways, right? It made me really have to work harder to understand what I was trying to do, and I had to work with other people. I realized that I had to actually get to know these people to actually move things forward, and that was different. And actually maybe the group work wasn't as bad as I sort of thought it was going to be. And then there's a third group. I don't know how big that group is. Hated it. Couldn't stand anything about this unit. It was terrible, right? The people in the group didn't understand me. They weren't prepared to work with me. They wouldn't work around my time frame. I didn't want to go to class on Saturdays. No one had to come on a Saturday. If you had a reason for not being there on a Saturday, you only had to contact me. Congratulations to the 30 people who did do that, all right? So it's difficult, right, for some people, the whole process. Whether you're here, or here. Personal learning statement number 3 offers you exactly all the same opportunity. What is it that you've learned about yourself in terms of your rejection of the unit, in terms of your ability to cope with aspects of the unit, in terms of your excitement and embrace of the unit? You've all got an opportunity to learn something about yourself in that context. All right? I don't discriminate. If you tell me you hated it versus you loved it versus you were still confused by it, none of that matters as long as you tell me why. And as long as you can relate that to you as a learner, okay? And what that means for you as a learner, okay? So there's your challenge. There's your challenge. You have been given the opportunity to do a whole range of entrepreneurial things, making decisions without full knowledge, having to wait, having to trust your gut instinct, having to work with other people and trust their gut instinct, having to see some of your marks for assessment connected to people buying socks, right? Goodness me, what's that all about? How'd you cope with all of this, right? This ambiguity, this ability of you to be able to cope with and keep moving forward, right? Did you find the process scary? Did you find it just frustrating? Did it just make you angry? Did it make you excited? Did it feel like you were having some freedom? Did you feel like you had all this open space to get out there and work with? There's no convergence around what you should have done in the unit. You're all entitled to have had a different experience. All I'm looking for you to do is to be able to reflect on the experience and explain the nature of that experience. So take full advantage of personal learning statement number 3. Now, what's the difference between it and the others? The only difference that's going to occur for you guys is that if you look at the rubric, the one area where I haven't been marking you guys down is on being concise. Okay? I keep talking to you about depth. All the feedback's about depth, not using why to go deep enough, right? Only using why once or twice, right? when minimum 3, but for most people it's going to be at least 5 whys to get the depth. And that doesn't mean you used it 5 times you got the depth, right? Because it means you could have gone sideways. Make sure that you take the opportunity in this one to work hard to be concise. So I haven't minded that you gave me 1,500 words in personal learning statement number 2, but let's make a limit, 1,000 words. If you're within 1,000 words for personal learning statement number 3, then I'm going to call that concise. If you're over that, I'm not going to call it concise, all right? So you look at the rubric, right? You see what the rubric says about depth and being concise. So if you want that 6 or 7 in terms of the outcome, then take your time. Don't just write the reflection as you go. Reflect. That's why I'm giving you this video now. You've got a week to be thinking about this unit. What have you learnt about you and your ability to be entrepreneurial in any sense? You've got a week to think about that before you need to start writing it down, before you be able to place this onto Blackboard and post it. Good luck. I hope you've enjoyed the unit. I really do. I hope you've got something out of the unit, and I hope it started a spark within you in terms of your confidence, that you can develop your own conviction about who you are, where you want to go, and what you want to do. And I hope that it's given you a sense of, if you needed to make some judgment about an idea, an environment, that process of thinking through the environmental interaction framework and being able to ask yourself those questions about your resource profile, about legitimacy, the nature of your environment, the type of value that's being created, the way in which the environment's changing with the variation, selection, retention, the type of co-actions that could be created, your initial starting point, R strategy, K strategy, specialist, generalist, and so importantly, energy. Are you becoming aware of energy? To the extent that your mind can be in that space, asking yourself those questions, then you're being entrepreneurial. Reflect on that. Plenty to talk about. So I can't wait to see you in workshop 3, and I obviously can't wait to read your reflections for personal learning statement number 3. Don't rush it. Take your time. As I say, if you got this mark for personal learning statement number 1 or number 2, and you wrote exactly the same things as in process, you might find your mark goes down, right? Remember, I focused more to try and support you. I focused more on the depth rather than being concise. But in personal learning statement number 3, the rubric will be applied exactly as it's written. So I'm going to be awarding you marks for depth and for your ability to be concise. And by concise, no more than 1,000 words, all right? You're not going to get smashed, but obviously you give me 2,000 words, 1,500 words, then I'm not looking at that as being concise. But please, please, don't panic. Don't panic. If you've written 1,100 words, don't go panicking about this, all right? I'm not panicking about it. I'm just simply saying we've got to draw a line somewhere, all right? I've enjoyed the class. And I can't wait to see where our sock sales end up. And I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what you guys have learned about yourself. Good, bad, or indifferent. As long as you can tell me why, everything will be sweet.